Can you remember how many island kids were in the team?
the house?
No, in the team.
Oh, in the team.
Yeah.
I played local, right down at Richmond.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking Richmond or are you talking?
No, when this whole Warriors Academy thing.
Oh, maybe half.
Maybe half.
And it was a squad of about, I don't know, maybe 30 or something like that.
Did you know the half of those boys?
I knew
most of them.
I knew I knew maybe a quarter of them.
So you felt okay because you were hanging out with your mates.
Yeah, but also it was in Auckland.
Yeah,
and it was all kind of local kids for the most part.
Yeah.
There was a handful from out of town.
Yeah,
that'll just pop up here and there, but for the most part, and Auckland it's big, but it's small.
But what I'm saying is, you had a group of players who looked like you and acted like you.
Oh yeah.
So it made the transition into that a lot easier and smoother, especially back then, right?
Yeah.
And league as well, because league was really,
say it. What? What was it?
I don't know. Well, it was a working class sport.
Yeah, that's right. It was blue collar, right? Because rugby was all the private schools.
Yeah.
That sort of world. The more affluent communities. And I didn't realize how... I had to do a bit of research later on in life, right? Because I was working behind the scenes and I didn't know any of that. But it was just because it was the local club. It was like, oh, well, that was just home. This was just the sport I was running around in and I enjoyed it and I stayed. I didn't think to go elsewhere, but I didn't think I did this because it was a blue collar or go that way. I guess if I was at a different school and rugby was the game, I would have had a jam at that.
Well, here's a question for you then. Like now, if mums and dads see their 16-year-old being identified by talent scouts or whatever, that's a different kettle of fish. So did you, when you were identified into this system, was there pressure from mum and dad for you to be something else now? Because from the outside looking in, from what I've experienced even now, it's like, whoa, okay, Nigel's in this team that is a big team now, and he's going to get a tracksuit, which means he's going to get 5 polo shirts, which means dad is going to get one.
Yep.
Uncle Sanile is going to get one, Uncle Sefo's going to get one, and I'm going to get some money. I'm probably going to get $700,000. Right? So was there any of that?
For me in the early days...
and why not?
Because I don't remember it much, and I don't think it was because in New Zealand no one knew about it.
Yeah, okay.
It was almost like a secret squad. Like this team got accepted in the Aussie comp. It's the NRL. Yep, sweet, big deal. There's a team training over there. That's it. And it didn't sort of raise too much eyebrows until they kicked off in '95. The first year of the Warriors.
Down the track.
Yeah, and then that's when the whole country went. Like I remember we did a promo one time, and I'm probably 19, and they said just be at this place at 6 o'clock at the stadium. Might have been 5 o'clock. Anyway, so we get there. And there's 2 buses, A and B. Okay, we call out your name, you're on bus A, the other one's bus B. Okay, sweet. A and B. And we all go to the airport. And we get to the airport and there's 2 planes. One is A, one is B. So everyone on bus A jump on that plane, B on the other plane.
Yeah.
And we did a promo and it was all in one day, and I remember it was a Saturday. And one plane did the North Island. And I think they might have done maybe
visiting
5
places?
or 6 stops.
Visiting places?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one did the South Island. So I was in the South Island plane, right? But you'd fly in.
Yeah.
And you get in the hangar, those things like that. So you go in there and there's people there everywhere. And we're like, oh, what's happening over here? And I'm looking out the window. And I didn't realize they were all there to see us.
How old were you?
19. But
they didn't tell you. They didn't tell you.
No, they said we're going to do promos and we're going to meet some people around the. We don't know what a promotion is, but we're going to meet people around the country. So we'd fly in, we jump off the plane, and there'd be all the tables lined up. We sit there, people come through. You're sliding posters, all that sort of stuff, taking photos. Maybe 45 minutes on the ground there, and then we go back on the plane and we'll fly to the next city, and we do like all in one day. So we ended up doing about 4 stops, maybe 5. And then the other guys did. And then at the end of the day, back to the stadium, jump in your car and go home. And I'm like, what kind of world is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, And it was all paid for. We jumped on the plane for free. Because we were like, oh, so we ain't going on a plane. There's 7 of us. Good luck. But it's like, and New Zealand didn't really know what it was going to be like in those early days. So I think for mum and dad, they're like, I don't know, something's going on down there. A lot of people down the park, but you still got to mow the lawn. You still got to make a ipuki,
Yeah.
My grandma was living with us at the time. She didn't speak English. All she said was, yes, thank you.
So
That was for like, her whole time. So, which was cool because we learned Samoan at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we could converse with mama, right? So it was like, but it was just like, it wasn't like a special thing. Until I got a bit older.
Sort of different.
I know it's a lot different now.
Yeah.
Because everybody can see, social media. You're online. You're on TV. All the different bits and pieces. It's become especially down these ways.
Yeah.
So I did some work with some academics, and they call it sports migration, where it's like people used to go overseas for work, but now a lot of people go overseas to chase sports as an opportunity out of whatever environment they're in. And that's it, right? So a lot of people will a lot of parents might push them one way or the other. But to what expense? Because if they push you, right, they push you, if your parents go, listen, you're going to be an awesome rugby player, you're going to be an awesome rugby player. And everyone knows your future is radio. But you know what I mean? So, and they kept pushing you. And they said, no, don't do radio. It's like actors. Don't do acting, get a real job. What's wrong with acting? Or don't do music, go get a real job. So I think there's still some of that that exists all around the world, I think.
Well, this is one of the reasons why doing this is really important. Maybe it didn't apply when you first transitioned into the NRL, but you definitely know you see it now.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about this migration of young players and parents pushing their young children. I've seen it, man. I actually know of success stories about parents identifying in their child at a very early age, he's got something. But then you got the flip side of that, where the parents who come from, let's be honest, like their backgrounds aren't very privileged, but they see maybe a ticket from their child to be able to escape the poverty that they're in. Let's be real about that.
Yeah,
and they may be pushing their child to a position that they can't handle,
for sure,
or that they think their child is an All Black, but really he's just black.
Is that what happened to you?
Well, at least my parents didn't see that I was an athlete like that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got the dilemma of, okay, this is where we come in as a village to say, okay, we recognize that this actually happens in our community today. So how do we support the village, which is the mum and dad, and the athlete be able to journey that if they're not even an athlete?
Oh, it's pretty
elite athlete.
You know what else as well? Because in our culture, like, so when I was behind the scenes and I did a lot of work with a lot of sort of really smart people and, all different bits and pieces all over the world. And they taught me a lot of big words, right? But one of the things that I remembered was we come from a communal mentality, right? So everything about us is all of us.
Yeah.
As in the Pacific, right? So if you got new shoes, we all got new shoes. You know what I mean? So it's like, whereas in Western culture, it's more, there's a lot more individualism, right? So if you've got one person who's got a contract or going through a sporting pathway, elite pathway, whatever it is, and they're like, the nutritionist is like, okay, listen, I need you to eat more protein on Wednesday. You got to have more carbs. And listen, here's your supplements for this week. All right, make sure you take it every second day for your lactic acid buildup. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. But it's like, and you go home and there's 6 other kids there, and your parents are cooking a meal. You think they're cooking a special one on the side for you?
This is the problem.
No chance.
No.
But that's
unless they understand the system.
Yeah, but you know what? Even if they understand the system and they go, okay, sweet, Sela, here's your steak. All of you guys are getting rice. Good luck. This is our golden child.
Here's your toast over here.
Yeah, because you know what else? 2 things, right? One, all the pressure's on you to succeed.
Yeah.
Because they're going out of their way to cater for it. Number 2, potential animosity with the siblings. Why does this guy get, how come Sela gets a steak? The man still wheezes the bed and he's 12 years old. He's 18 years old. You know what I mean? Like, so how do you actually, because now you've got to manage that.
See,
that's another,
I know.
That's another beast that,
I know. But
so all these things come off the back of it.
But that comes back to an education of the parents, understanding what's required, what's involved. And you can't blame some parents who have come from the islands and English is a second language to some of these parents who don't understand the system. But you and I, you know, as parents who've grown up here, proud to be Samoan, but grown up here.
Doesn't matter if you grew up here.
Yeah,
I know people here who don't understand.
I know, but I'm navigating that with my son at the moment.
Yeah. Do you understand the system?
Well, not 100%. But
what percent?
Huh?
What percent would you understand the elite athlete pathway
system? If I carry the 2 and then drop the 5 and divide it by 7. But what I'm saying is, like, I at least have a leg up compared to some of our parents who are part of the village who don't understand the system.
Yeah.
And so we need to be able to help that village to be able to understand, okay, if my son brings home some supplements, I can't have 3/4 of that
for you,
for that protein for me. Because if I have the KFC, if I have that and the KFC, it's not going to help me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about that, right? Educating that. And that's a big gig. That's why you want to, like you said, you want to be able to trust in the coach or the management of their team to be able to come to the parent and say, listen, if you want your child to get to here, then this is what I need you to do as a family. Am I right? But even if they do that, I know you're shaking your head, but even if they do that, they're not. There's not. Yeah. But at least, that's you have to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And it's just like, so if I asked you, what percentage? So as a parent, right? As a parent of a couple, 3 young potential athletes, right? That are all in the sports space, right?
I better say yes.
3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So, what percentage of that environment would you feel with regards to supporting them?
You know what the biggest thing for me, Nigel, is?
That's not a number.
I know, wait. The biggest thing for me is the mental space that my children are at.
What percentage?
I'd say
of elite of pathways and support that you would understand of the environment they're going into. As someone from the village who didn't go through that environment, I'm just curious, because would it be 20%, 30%?
I'd say without knowing what I know now. Yeah,
it's
maybe
not an example.
40%.
Just give me a number.
I'm just trying to think because I've got people around me now.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so 40%, right?
Yeah.
So so there's still 60.
Yeah. That I got no idea.
But I reckon a lot of people and a lot of parents, and I've got some parents now who actually, whose son is 17, who actually, and the club want to extend his contract for another 2 years, right?
Well, at least he's got a contract.
But
that's good.
They know, I reckon about 10%.
And the
son is he's already got a contract.
Oh, I'm worried about that. I mean? I'm worried about that.
And they grew up in New Zealand. I understand. So this is everyone. It's not just a Pacific challenge.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of parents also, and I did some conferences in the States a few years ago and talking to some people, right? And I remember one of the things they said was one of the biggest challenges they have in the States is the parents living their dreams through the kids.
Yes.
You know, and that's, and I can see it in the sporting environment over there. I don't think it exists here too much. Maybe it's starting to, because now there's a generation later. Like when I was coming through, my parents didn't dream of playing in NRL. They didn't even know what it was, you know. But if you're in the islands or you're, and in a lot of cultures, right? If you're a doctor, then you want one of your kids to be a doctor, I think. Yeah. Or if you're a lawyer, or if you're a builder, it'll be great if this one, you know. So maybe there is that sort of parent child relationship in that regard. But if you are the parent and you wanted to be an All Black, or you wanted to be a rugby league player or a netballer, a swimmer, you know, at the Olympics, whatever, break dancer, whatever it is, yes. And you go and you don't get there, and then you send or you develop a lifestyle for your child and try and push them in that direction. Big problem over in the States, and I think there could be some of that sort of happening in Pacific communities as well now.
There is. You haven't
Which is
seen that? You haven't seen
I've
that?
seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it in rugby league.
Yeah, and I've actually seen it myself as well. Because of, talent's getting younger. And there is talented boys and girls. And I say boys and girls because they're only boys and girls.
Yeah.
Talented boys and girls. But then that talent pool, maybe you might see your child as very, very extremely talented. But the reality is, right, that they may not be. And I think the Village Athlete podcast, is trying to help the village sort of come to terms with, okay, we sort of mentioned it at the top. How do we best support this person, my son, my daughter, who may be an extremely talented athlete or may not be an extremely talented athlete, and identify, okay, where do I pull back? How do I invest?
Yeah. And how do I understand the system? Also the coaches.
Yeah, true.
Because there's a lot of coaches. So my boy plays at the local league team this year down at Richmond, and his coach, like all his team, Island boys, except for one, and the coach wasn't. The head coach wasn't an Islander, right? So how does he connect with the group to be able to help them as best he can?
Yep.
Now, a decent coach knows his stuff, but had challenges along the way with regards to supporting them a way that he wanted to, and a way that they, the way he ran the team, they clashed because they thought a different way worked better for them. But if you don't have that communication and that understanding, and you don't knock it on the head at the start, then that just continues to grow throughout the season, So for a lot of coaches and for a lot of people that look after teams, managers, staff in and around it, I think it'll help them as well, because it'll just help them understand Pacific people in general.
Yeah.
And then if you can understand them a bit more, or Pacific people a bit more, then you can set up environments to cater for some of their different challenges along the way, which will save you a lot of headaches, I think, down the track.
I agree with that. That's the system. But then also I'm believing that the Village Athlete podcast is also going to support the village to be able to deal with everything that goes on,
Yeah.
with that, supporting their child.
There's a lot of people like that know, or say the community, or here in New Zealand, right, or maybe around the world, right? So a lot of people know the big stars, or people that have gone through and become played at the highest level in their sport, whatever sport it is. But do they know the cultural journey that they had along the way? Because that's what I want to unpack.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will see this person and go, oh, that person's really good at this, really good at that. But then what was the cultural journey like for that person, and how did they navigate their way through it, and how can we pull some of that info out to share with the rest of the world?
Roadblocks, challenges, but also the triumphs.
Oh, out of it. For free. For free. I want to just give it to the world, man. Just help all people, right?
Yeah.
Help all people by telling our stories and sharing our world.
I think that's a good place to stop it right there, because there's nothing else for us to say unless you take off your cap.
Bro, don't stick your tongue out me like that. Will you say that, please? Okay.
Yeah, that's us.
We got a lot of stuff that we can share. I think it'll help a lot of
people. And bring some people, some professionals, some people that people will recognize who have been through their journey at the highest level. I'm really looking forward to exploring, talking to those people as well.
Yeah.
Seki. Village Athlete podcast.
We're on.
Give me some 5.
We're live. What was that?
Give me some 5.
What is this? Oh.